This is the new and improved version of the Look At filter. Using it, you will be able to create immersive 3D experiences where actors look at the spectator as if they were in the scene. Or you could make them look at the user-controlled object of your choice. Compared to the previous version, this new method works in many more scenarios, can be easily animated over time, has less constraints during the shooting in the HoloSys, and most importantly, gives better, more natural results that preserve the actors' performances. It is also easier to set up in 4DFX, notably with the built-in preview, and computes faster. First, you will need to plan your shoot in the HoloSys with the Look At in mind. To achieve the best results, we recommend that your actors keep their necks clear, although it should work okay even with hair being down. Then, when they intend to look at the spectator, they should focus on a fixed point in the studio. A simple solution would be to pick one of the cameras of the studio that is at head height. You can also use a prop in the studio. This would work better if you want to place the spectator close to the actor. You should then remove the prop in 4DFX. Note that your actors don't have to fix the point at all time. They can act naturally, for example, as if they were talking to someone, by turning their head or breaking eye contact at times. The last constraint to keep in mind is that the actors shouldn't touch their head or neck when the Look At should be applied. That's about it for the shooting. Back in 4DFX, let's apply a Look At on this short sequence. We can see that the actress starts with her back to the spectator, then turns to face them before walking away. Let's place a Look At filter in a meta layer and define its animation. First, I'll set the beginning of the Look At clip to the moment she starts turning her head. And then I'll set the end of the clip to about when she finishes turning back. Now I'll activate the Fade In Out option and set the left cover to about when she starts the eye contact when facing us. Finally, I'll set the right cover to about when she stops the eye contact before turning back. We now need to define the head, neck, and gaze. First, I'll choose a control frame, ideally around the middle of the clip, where the actor's gaze is clearly defined. Let's say this one. Then, I'll place the head controller using Shift left click on the mesh. I'll then adjust the controller's size and position to be wide enough to cover the head and its center to be at the center of the head at eye level. I find that this shape of controller works best. Now I'll add the neck controller with Shift right click. Once again, I'll adjust the size and position. It's important to be precise here. The vertices inside this controller are the ones that will be deformed by the Look At. So it needs to fully cover the neck without going too far and, for example, touching the chin. The center of the controller will also be the rotation point of the Look At, so it needs to be positioned at the center of the neck, like this. If it isn't properly positioned, the effect will not look correct, like you can see here on the right. Finally, I'll place the gaze controller. This is the point that was originally looked at by the actor, so the chosen camera or prop. In this case, where our actress doesn't move around too much during the Look At, the easiest way to do it is to place the camera a bit far away, as if she were looking at us, and then place the controller by clicking on Place Gaze Point at Camera. This should do it. Let's click on Process. I can now turn the camera around and play the sequence to see with the preview if something needs to be adjusted. This preview can be turned on or off with this button. The maximum rotation angle can also be controlled from here. If the neck is not fully covered, you will get an error while processing. To fix this, you'll have to go back to the control frame, which you can do by clicking on the frame number in the clip settings and adjust the size of the neck controller. You can define lookouts on multiple actors at a time. You can even define lookouts on other things than heads and necks. To make the integration easier in Unity or Unreal, you can rename your meta layers, like this. If your actor is moving around more, like in this example, it will be harder to place the gaze point correctly. I would then recommend retrieving the 3D position of the camera from the horses and inputting it in the transform. Or if you use the prop, placing the controller on it using Shift middle click. Note that you can change the animation curve setting to tune how the weights will be animated, but I would recommend keeping the default ease in out value, which gives a good result. Also, if you have multiple lookout clips to set up, it's useful to know that you can copy and paste transforms, in particular to place the same gaze point for multiple lookouts. Using 4Decoder, I'll export my project to 4DS and include the lookout tracks I want. I will then be able to integrate it in Unity or Unreal. In Unity, in the Mesh 4DS object, you will see a lookout component. Enable the script and drop the object to follow in the target field, for example, the main camera. Note that you can adjust the max angle to your liking. In Unreal Engine, in the 4D Views Actor panel, you'll find the Lookout section. Drop the objects to follow in the target field. You can also adjust the max angle. If you want to set the current player camera as the target, open the level blueprint. Get the camera using the getPlayerController and getViewTarget nodes. Then, get the FDV Actor object node and connect it to the setLookoutTarget node. Finally, connect the getViewTarget to the LookoutTarget field of the node and connect the node to EventBeginPlay.